It's the final night of the festival, and I'm lucky enough to be sitting with 2/5 of the damn things. How are you guys?
Doing good. Just real tired.
2/6 of the damn thing.
2/6. Yeah, we have a touring bass player. So live we're 6, on record 5.
But we're doing well.
We're doing good. Just tired. Yeah.
I've just heard some lovely stories from the flight over of some farty women. Did you have any larger beast farty women?
I don't know. I had a good. I was the farty woman on the flight. I had a good flight.
I had fucking 2 giant farty women on my left, and the effeminate flight attendant that hated me. He hated the fact that I had to lean into the aisle to get away from the farts, and he'd smash me with the drink cart. He trapped me in. He purposely saw me wanting to put my bag away. I had it on my lap, and he just traps me in there. Fucking chats up with these 2 fucking jamokes. It
Sorry about
sucked.
that. I had a good. I slept pretty much the whole way. So.
Oh yeah.
Working away.
Yeah, I didn't sleep at all.
Sorry to hear that. Well, I'll try not to be too boring for you, so you don't fall asleep on me.
Nothing bores me.
Okay, right. I want to start at the beginning and how you guys formed, and I think you were the man behind it originally, weren't you?
To a degree. I mean, Scott as well. Scott and I were just introduced through a mutual friend, and as odd as the pairing seems, we grew to like each other pretty immediately. And I'm sure I'm the one that probably brought up the idea of like wanting to do a band of this nature, and I must have like picked up on a vibe he was putting out, because I'm not usually one to just kind of impose myself that way. Though I did to this guy pretty bad. I did impose myself pretty hard. But I feel more comfortable imposing on Keith.
Because you're a massive Anthrax fan, aren't you?
I am. I'm a massive Every Time I Die fan. I'm a massive Every Time I Die fan. Don't sell yourself short, Keith, because I've been seeing Every Time I Die for probably the 11 years they've been a band. So, I mean, like I'm in a band. I'm doing a band with like guys whose bands I love. So it's really cool. Yeah, and it's awesome. There's a lot of mutual respect going on. It's really cool.
Did it take some bravery though to approach Scott and say, "How about I show you some stuff and see what you think"? Was that a bit scary?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was like several levels of fear.
Bravery a new kind of weed?
Dude. And that's kind of the answer. Bravery. Nah, I mean, yeah, I was probably real stoned, like probably pretty high, but I mean, like I was introduced to a friend. We had a mutual friend, and it was a dinner environment. There was other people there, so I figured if I could get a vibe that he didn't want to talk to me, I'd just kind of stay in the back. And we talked, and it was definitely frightening when he was coming over to the hotel I was staying in to play music with me, because, I mean, I just figured that would end up being the gauge where I find out if I'm decent at guitar or not. So it was a lot of pressure, but it actually was really fun. I mean, he's an awesome dude. So.
And when you started jamming together, how far into it did you think this is sounding pretty good? This could go somewhere.
I mean, I guess I thought that when we first were jamming together, and then from there it felt so awesome that I just was good. I felt like I needed to, and I think Scott felt the same way, and everyone felt the same way once everyone else got involved, that we just wanted to like make it happen, because it felt too awesome to do. So it's kind of like, regardless of like how bad it was at the beginning and how much better it is now, I wanted to do whatever it took to make it happen. And anyway, even if it was just making a record, putting it out, and no one like even knowing about it, at least just make it. Yeah.
And when did you think that Keith was the man for the vocals? When did you think that would just work?
That hasn't happened yet. I'm still...
He just stands on stage and
looks cool.
Looks wistful. No, Scott and I were he was when I was still mostly in Chicago. He was coming into town to work on Anthrax stuff, because Charlie Benante lives outside of Chicago. So that's kind of where Anthrax is somewhat kind of sort of based out of now, in a way. And so he was there. He's staying over at my place, and he's double dutying, doing Anthrax stuff and then Damn Things stuff, which wasn't the Damn Things at the time. We were listening to Every Time I Die on the way. Scott brought up like, man, Keith would be like the perfect guy for this band, and I'm like, yeah, why don't I just send him a text?
And weren't you on tour at the time?
Yeah.
And then you can ask him what he thought of it.
I thought it was. I mean, I thought it would be a great idea. I just didn't really. I get a lot of oh, dude, totally, we should do this. We should totally do this. We should totally do this. From, you know, that always happens when you're on tour with other people. We should totally do this. We should totally do something together, and then nothing ever comes of it. So I figured, like, I don't know, maybe Joe was on tour or something and talking to Scott or whatever, but just
I had so much bravery.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was insane.
So, but then he started sending me stuff almost immediately. I was like, all right, be serious. I'm serious too. So yeah, it worked out.
And when did you decide what the other members should be? Like, I think it was a drunken conversation when it comes to Rob, wasn't it? That you thought he should join.
They were drinking together.
Yeah, like everybody was soberly admitted into the band. Like Andy, you know, I was on tour, like, you know, shortly after starting kind of working out with Scott, like I was back out on tour. I told Andy, I've been hanging with Scott and jamming. I told him, like, you should play drums. I told Scott I wanted Andy to play drums, and so that was that. And then Keith, obviously, you know, and then yeah, with Rob it was like a drunken conversation. And then the next day I was like, are we a band with 3 guitar players now? And it took me a minute to come to terms with it, but like the moment I started, and like I had known Rob and really loved hanging out with him, but we weren't like, hadn't really hung out that much. So I went and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna hang out with this dude. I went to Brooklyn, brought a guitar, and we just like finished a bunch of stuff I'd like half written. And I was like, well, this dude's definitely in the band. We'll figure out how to make the 3 guitars thing work. Hey. I'll come say hi in a minute. I'm doing an interview, but.
Was there any reservations about
Off camera, I know you can't see, but that was Mick Jagger that just walked by.
Yeah, that's Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
I don't let that fucking stupid piece of shit. I'm kidding. I don't let him bother me when I'm doing interviews. I love him to death, though. He's my best friend. He's actually my older brother.
Yeah.
Are you gonna lie throughout this interview? Should
Yeah,
I be prepared?
that's all I do.
That's the only lie. It was actually David Bowie.
I was actually going to make a really bad Shakespeare reference, but I was gonna make a Shylock reference, being the fact that I'm Jewish, and then lies.
Yeah.
That would have been lost on me.
Yeah.
Really? Someone would have found that very anti-Semitic, but I am Jewish, so.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Did like the management have any reservations about having 3 guitarists? Were they like, what are you doing there?
Yeah, we had a whole
Actually-
conference call, yeah.
Yeah.
A few issues there.
Yeah, it was, you know, I think like that's where you like, this is like in many of the realms, this is where Scott comes like best in handy, because he's really like, he really believes what he believes, and he really drives home, and he's really able to just be like, nah, dude, a band of 3 guitar players it's an awesome band. They're like, what kind of band is that? He's like, it's an awesome band. And that dude's self-aware, and he doesn't like shit that sucks. So I mean, you know.
He knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. And also like I was firmly backing it. Like, it's funny because this dude hadn't really like met or hung out with Rob.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of like we brought him into the band, almost like, now to think about it, really unfairly without asking anybody else.
Well, no, I remember we had a conference call, and I was kind of apprehensive about it, you know, because 3 guitar players just seems like
A lot of bands do it wrong.
Yeah, a lot of bands do it wrong. But then I heard what they were writing. I'm like, this sounds great.
Not a lot of Skinners
Yeah,
out there.
yeah.
Who gets like the best solos and the best riffs to do? Is that might that be you?
Everyone gets the best riffs and solos.
I don't.
Dude, you're always bebopping and skedaddling up there. You're doing great. No, everybody gets a chance to be themselves in this band. Yeah.
Was it really important to you that it was a different sound to your other projects? Was that amazing to explore different avenues and things like that?
Gigantic importance. That's of gigantic importance, because if it sounded like Every Time I Die or Fall Out Boy or Anthrax, then I think it would be a pointless band.
Yeah. Exactly. I think you've achieved that.
Thank you. I hope so. We would all like to believe that, you know.
And you're doing a lot more singing.
Yeah. Which is something I've always wanted to do. And Every Time I Die, I do a little bit, but I like doing it a lot, you know. So it's, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. You just said you don't get to do anything, and that's like 99.9% of what people like hear when they hear the music. It's like, holy fuck. They're like, holy fuck, that dude's got a really good voice. It's like,
thanks, Jeff.
I get really surprised that people couldn't hear that and like listening to like The New Black, or like certain Every Time I Die songs, like maybe like some older stuff off Hot Damn where you're doing more like atonal like singing, like maybe it's hard to picture it. But even then, I remember like listening to those records and like, this dude could definitely sing. You can just tell when somebody can sing. And no, you have to, you know, whatever. I'm not considering to stroke your ego. I'll do that off interview.